Hello and welcome. You're watching NewsX Deepdive. I'm Uday Pratap Singh. After 78 years of functioning from a building designed by the British Empire, the Prime Minister's office has a new address. The PMO will be moving out of South Block tomorrow and into a new complex called Seva Teerth. This is not just a change of location, it is being projected as a statement on how power, governance and service are to be reimagined in contemporary India. The move is part of the Central Vista redevelopment, which aims to consolidate government functioning. Under this plan, 51 central government ministries are all set to be brought into 10 common central secretariat buildings. The new PMO complex is located less than a kilometre from Raisina Hill on plots 36 and 38 behind South Block. Seva Teerth has three parts housing the PMO Cabinet Secretariat and the National Security Council Secretariat. The new complex has been named Seva Teerth, and the name itself carries a strong message. Seva means service, a core principle in Indian civilizational and political thought. Teerth refers to a sacred space, a place associated with purpose, responsibility and moral duty. Together, Seva Teerth is meant to signal that governance is not a symbol of authority but a space of service. The government has framed this shift as a move from rule to service, from command to responsibility and from distance to accessibility. This naming is also a clear departure from the language and symbolism of empire. South Block, like much of Lutyens' Delhi, was designed to project imperial power. Built in 1930 as part of the British plan for New Delhi, it initially housed the Viceroy's office. Its grand staircases, long corridors and elevated position were intended to inspire awe and establish hierarchy. The ruler was physically and psychologically distant from the ruled. After independence in 1947, India adapted this colonial structure for democratic governance. The Prime Minister's Secretariat was established here, and the first cabinet meeting under Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru was held within these walls. Over time, the PM Secretariat evolved. In 1964, under Lal Bahadur Shastri, it received statutory status through the allocation of business rules. Its influence expanded significantly during Indira Gandhi's tenure. In 1977, under Morarji Desai, it was formally renamed the Prime Minister's Office. Earlier, PMO, Cabinet Secretariat and National Security Council operated from different locations, leading to administrative silos and complex security logistics. The new setup is designed to enable faster decision-making and better coordination. What is also called the Executive Enclave, the Seva Teerth complex has been constructed by Larsen & Toubro for the Central Public Works Department, which awarded the contract in 2022. The complex spans over 226,803 square feet and has been built at a cost of approximately 1,189 crore rupees. It features digitally integrated offices, structured public interface zones and centralized reception facilities. The design seeks to promote efficiency, collaboration and seamless governance while also improving employee well-being and citizen engagement. Seva Teerth has been built in accordance with 4-star Griha sustainability standards. That means it incorporates renewable energy systems, water conservation measures, advanced waste management solutions and high-performance building envelopes. Security has been a core focus with smart access control systems regulating entry and exit, integrated surveillance across the central vista and advanced emergency response infrastructure, including fire detection, alarm systems and evacuation protocols. Once vacated, both South and North blocks will be converted into a public museum named Yuge Yugin Bharat Sangrahalaya. In fact, in recent years, the Indian government has embarked on a profound administrative and symbolic transformation, redefining the geography of its power centers. Under the Central Vista redevelopment project, the physical relocation of government offices has been accompanied by a strategic renaming of key landmarks as well, to shed colonial legacies and emphasize a philosophy of public service. Earlier renaming of the Prime Ministerial residence to 7 Lok Kalyan Marg signaled the same thing. Similarly, the sprawling Central Secretariat, which houses the Union bureaucracy, is being consolidated into a series of integrated buildings known as Kartavya Bhavan. These shifts effectively phase out the usage of older hubs like Shastri Bhavan and Udyog Bhavan, which are being repurposed or demolished. Beyond Delhi, the renaming trend has reached the states. The Raj Bhavans and Raj Nivas are being rebranded as Lok Bhavan and Lok Nivas respectively. This linguistic pivot from Raj or rule to Lok or people and Kartavya or duty represents a significant effort to decolonize the nomenclature of Indian governance, ensuring that the names of these offices reflect the democratic values of the modern era. For the first time since independence, the Prime Minister of India is not governing from a building conceived by the British Empire. The address of power has changed, and with it the message the state wants to send about itself. Seva Teerth is being positioned as a place where power flows from duty, where governance is framed as service, and where the Indian state seeks to reimagine its identity for a new era. Whether this remains a symbolic shift or evolves into substantive change is a question that only time, policy and practice will answer. Dikshu Kukreja, town planner, is joining us live in the broadcast. Dikshu, how significant is this shift of the PMO from their current location to Seva Teerth? And what will the new office look like?
So, Uday, thanks for having me on your show. And what you have just described as the purpose of this move from the South Block to what is now the Seva Teerth, a new executive enclave, I think is really very purposeful, very transformational, and sends a very strong message at different levels. And I think you've also narrated that rather well in terms of what it encompasses. Of course, one is the symbolism that is associated with it, and that has far-reaching consequences, I will not deny. But also, it's about really when we are talking about moving towards a Viksit Bharat, when we are transforming so fast, when we are becoming one of the fastest growing economies in the world, when we are the largest population on this planet, all these things also warrant that we have state-of-the-art, world-class infrastructure. And for a prime minister to run the country, or serve the country rather, I would say it requires the right infrastructure, the right office space, the right coordination with his cabinet secretariat or the National Council of Security, like you mentioned, that secretariat, rather than these facilities which so far were scattered in different parts of New Delhi or the Rajpath. At least for all this to be consolidated is not denying that it's going to lead to operational efficiencies, and it is about buildings which are designed for that purpose, as opposed to what had been happening till date, which that they were operating out of buildings which were originally built from a different mindset and for a different purpose, so to say. And all these facilities over time, infrastructure requirements have changed, technology has changed, the way we work has changed, workspace design has changed, and all this was missing in those old buildings, which were heritage buildings in their own right, and therefore you could not do much out there. So from all those purposes, I think this is a very strong, symbolic, again I repeat, but also a very efficient and sensible move.
Absolutely. And Dikshu, it also of course comes as part of the Central Vista redevelopment. In the Central Vista redevelopment, we've already seen, the Kartavya Path be redeveloped. We've already seen other offices as well shift to Kartavya Bhavan, and the relocation, of course, of offices is ongoing. The latest is Seva Teerth. But talk us through this entire Central Vista redevelopment plan. What the objective of it was, what all has been completed, what is still left to be completed, and also, the architecture and the significance of it all as well. Apart from the renaming, as we've seen, from Racecourse Road to Lok Kalyan Marg, to Vijay Path, to Kartavya Path, to of course South North Block now being known as Kartavya Bhavan and Seva Teerth, really shedding colonial legacy, also creating a sense of purpose and duty and responsibility to the country as well.
Absolutely, you're right. So renaming is not just about, shedding a colonial legacy. Okay, that has one sense of purpose there, but it's also about sending the right message that what is a government really meant to do? Are they meant to govern in a democracy, or are they really there to facilitate and serve the people of the country? So this renaming certainly reflects that ethos and goes a long way in demonstrating to the people what an Indian democratic setup is all about. So I think it's a very intelligent, sensible, and meaningful move of renaming. And along with the renaming, of course, creation of infrastructure of the Central Vista, with the whole idea that operational efficiencies in governance go a long way in making a country progress better, progress faster, progress in the right manner. So if rather than having offices which are scattered all over the city, the kind of time loss, the kind of environmental impact the kind of operational inefficiencies that come into it are something we sort of learn to live with because we don't know any better. But the fact when you create these state-of-the-art office infrastructure, when you bring all the different ministries and departments in one area, there's no doubt that it really brings about a far better operational efficiency and saves so much time, energy, and resources. So from that point of view, I think it's a very bold and good idea to create a new Central Vista, which is about meeting today's requirements or being future ready to meet the requirements of the future as well, rather than living and operating out of buildings which were meant for another purpose in another era by another colonial power altogether.
Dikshu Kokreja, appreciate you joining us with your perspective on this segment.